Hey guys, welcome back to another Faith Break. I know it's been a while since I've came on here and talked to you guys about anything. I'm working on getting a camera and things like that for future gaming videos. But today I figured we could do the Faith Break in a new way. I want to start doing like certain Bible verses and just go in depth on that. Like one Bible verse or whatever. So the Bible verse I really want to go into today is Psalm 27:4. And it says, "One thing I ask for the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord for all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple." What this verse is saying is to dwell in the house of the Lord for all the days of my life, which dwell meaning to live there, to stay there, not to visit. Think of it like a dwelling, like you live in your house, like a mortgage or something on the insurance. It says a dwelling. That's where you live. You don't just visit, you live there. We want to try to focus in on dwelling in God's presence, meaning to stay in his presence and stay rooted and connected to God. The next passage says to gaze on the beauty of the Lord, which meaning it's not just seeing. When you gaze at something, you don't just see it, you slow down and admire it. Like you would see maybe a beautiful hill and not just a hill, but beautiful landscape. You sit there and you gaze upon it. I'm going to gaze upon this field. I'm going to gaze upon this beautiful home. I'm going to gaze upon the animals, or whatever it is. To gaze is to not just see it, but to slow down and admire it, which meaning to admire God's beauty, like just to get in his presence, stay in his presence, to dwell in his presence, going back to dwelling, and to just gaze on God's beauty and his hand on your life, and just stay rooted. Like I said, just stay connected and just gaze upon the Lord. And the last passage of scripture in this verse, it says to seek him in his temple, which means to seek means to prioritize, which we need to prioritize God daily. Day in and day out, we have to put God first, prioritize him first. When we wake up in the morning, it should be, okay, I got to go pray first. I have to seek God. I have to seek him. I always need to put God first and foremost first in your life, not just daily things, but first in your life. That's period. It should be God first, then family, and then whatever you have in your life that is really that you really put in your life, that you really care about. And you have your certain things like a job and your hobbies or whatever you do, but God should always be number one. God should always be the first thing we should do in the morning is to get up and pray. If you don't have time praying, maybe listen to some worship. The worship isn't just in church, you just worship for 30 minutes or however long you worship in church. It could be all day. It doesn't have to be just at church. You can worship him all day long, every day. It doesn't have to just be in one setting with, church worship. When you're at church, you're worshiping. It's beautiful, but it could also just be you and him in a room, in your car, at your desk, in your office. Anywhere. You can worship God anywhere at any time, and his worship doesn't go unnoticed. God sees us when we worship to him. He loves when we worship to him. It's just something that people don't really focus on. Worship, I feel like some people just think worship is just to be in church or a church setting, but you can worship God anywhere, anytime. God's been highlighting Psalm 27 to me, but I just really wanted to break down the fourth verse in that chapter. I just want to say, if in a world we have full of distractions, and I just encourage you to always choose God's presence above all else. Seek him daily. Success, approval, comfort, none of that matters. You always just put God's presence first. Put God at the number one thing in your life, and just put him first, and always seek him, and like I said, dwelling in his presence. Just this week I just challenge you guys to just continue to dwell in his presence, gaze upon him, and seek him. Seek God first in everything that we do. I love you guys so much. I thank you guys for watching the video, clicking on the video. I hope you guys like the new setup. I don't really know what we're going to do with this, but I really wanted to stick with it outside, but it's just too hot. I don't like going out there right now. If you don't know the Lord, I pray that this message touches you, and maybe this will help you dwell and look for God, search for Jesus, because he's not far. He's right there. He's knocking at your door, and he always is excited and welcoming, and he's more excited to find the one than the 99. I love you guys so much, and I pray that you have a wonderful week.